We're out here. We're out here in Liberty. Still, it's been about 10 years since the beer witch happened to come to the place where she originated. Look, man, my cooler is still empty, folks. You know, there's a lot of people on YouTube that you know, that know magic and stuff like that, you know, but I don't see them helping me with my cooler, folks. Helping me, you know, fix the problem of the beer witch. And you know, it just shows us that here in the United States of America, you know, that it's kind of being like, you know, like everything you gotta do by yourself. You gotta do everything by yourself. Nobody can help you, and blah blah blah. But that's not how it is, folks. That's not. We should all come together as a community and defeat the beer witch, folks. The beer witch has cursed the cooler. See, people like seeing evil things happen to people, but you can't be talking about beer, man. You cannot. You gotta have a cold one in your hand, and then you'll know. You know, garage and beer. You gotta go to the garage and drink a cold one after a long day's work. No, but like I need to tell you, man, like there's so many witches out there of varieties, but I never seen a witch try to help me, you know, fix my problems. They're always doing evil stuff, you know, and I tell them, hey man, help me get some beer up in my cooler, and they're like, and no, nothing happens with the beer in my cooler, you know, and like it's very difficult, but the pain never goes away, folks. It's like being betrayed by your friends. So like as I said, you know, man, I'm just saying, you know, I'm going through some stuff, and I don't mind if, like, you know, if the company YouTube, if they send me like a beer coupon or something, that'll be nice. But you know that this is a mega corporation. YouTube is a mega corporation, and Google is like a mega corporation. And for them, a cooler of beer, they're just looking at me like, how the fuck is he having a cooler of beer? Where are you? We're Google. We are over here with the future, and this man cannot have a beer, man. But I'm talking about like manifesting the beer, you know. Google must know about all them witches, you know. But you know, the beer witch, every single day that I do not have a beer in my hand, the beer witch gets more and more powerful, and that you can feel the power of the beer witch. And so we're just over here, and you know, man, we gotta fix that. You know, we gotta fix it. And I need that beer real bad, folks. But like, you know, You know what the beer witch did one time? And I'm gonna tell you for real. I was in some group where, you know, beer drinkers united, and we talked. They have infiltrated beer drinkers united, and they infiltrated it, and I was like in that situation where like the beer witch had taken over beer drinkers united. Now I had to be at beer drinkers united for about every single day or every single week. I gotta participate in the rituals, beer drinkers united, and the rituals. The beer witch had infiltrated the rituals of the beer drinkers, and they started dividing the beer drinkers. They started putting spies, and they start doing weird shit, man, that is really kind of stuck to me. I didn't know that they were like that, but it was fucking weird. Don't ever trust the beer witch. She has really gone too far, folks. Infiltrating beer drinkers united. And like I said, like I was saying, folks, you know, we just gotta fix this, you know. We gotta really fix this, because, like, you know, the beer witch is out there, and she is evil. She is a plague upon humanity. And we cannot allow her to go further into the government and take over the government of the United States of America. We can't allow that, because if it occurs, then it will occur, you know. But like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out, folks. The cooler's still empty. Some of the most evilest witches haven't been able to help me with the cooler. You know, if you wanted to fight back for your country, you would fill that cooler with some colder ones. But like I said, they don't want to fight for the country, so the beer cooler's empty, and the United States has fallen into peril, into darkness. The most evilest terrorist in the whole entire planet has taken and saw the situation, and has saw that the United States has fallen under the beer witch spell. But like I said, you know, we all know what's going on. But like, you know, like as I said, I'm just saying, you know, I'm not gonna get, like, you know, help from the most evilest witch on Google. You know, they're not gonna come help me fill that cooler up. Instead, what I'm seeing is that they just know about the beer witch, but for some reason the United States has fallen. Every single day that we are unable to defeat the beer witch, the country is destroyed. And but like I said, you know, man, that L, it really does matter, folks. The L. And the stuff, man, you know. But like, you know, you gotta be careful, man, because like I had a weird dream last night of the beer witch. And you know, I pray to the God of the beer and the beer tree, where the commandments have been placed of the beers that I've drinking before. And and you know, man, it's getting rough out here in the United States, so I might be having to move my operation to some other country, because the United States has fallen under the curse of the beer witch. And that's what's going on. And what's strange, you know, is the politicians are not saying nothing. Politicians are quiet. Politicians look like they had staged the event prior to it being staged. You know, it's like they knew this was going to happen 10 years ago. That the beer witch would come up from wherever she came from and place all kinds of evil, diabolical hexes upon those Americans that dare divide her.